Hello and welcome to our midweek update and devotional thought here at Quitman's First Baptist Church, Quitman, Mississippi. I'm Neal. I'm the pastor here at First Baptist, and it's a delight this morning for me to welcome you to this time where we can give you a few details of what's going on here at the church and a brief devotional thought that might be a blessing for you here in the middle of the week. Thanks for joining us. If you're on Facebook or YouTube, we're glad we have those outlets, but we also have fbcquitman.net. That's our website, and we'd love for you to go to that website and learn a little bit about us, find out about what's going on here at the church, and the different ministries that you can be a part of. If you're here in Quitman and Clark County, Mississippi, then we invite you to come. If you're looking for a church home, we invite you here to First Baptist Church and would love to see you. Those of you who are out of town, out of state, out of country, thanks for joining us. Thanks for tuning in, as we say, and finding out what's going on here at First Baptist Church. What is going on? Well, the normal Sunday morning worship, Sunday morning Bible study at 9, worship at 10. Then Wednesday evening discipleship at 6. This is for all ages, every event for all ages. Wednesday nights, our youth have a very energetic, great time of discipleship out in our activities building. Children have their activities. Adults have prayer meeting and Bible study. Our choirs and music ministry rehearses and prepares for Sunday. And it's just an exciting night on Wednesday nights at 6. So we invite you to these activities. Then you can see these posters behind me of some special things that are coming up. The first here in this month, actually in about a week and a half, November 14th, we'll be dedicating our Christmas shoe boxes. Operation Christmas Child is a ministry of Samaritan's Purse. And all it is you take a shoebox, fill it with goodies like school supplies or socks or a little t-shirt, a stuffed animal, a toy, whatever you want to put in there, and seal it up. And on November 14th, we're going to pray over those boxes, take them to the regional collection center. They'll go to Atlanta and go through processing and then get shipped all over the world. When they're given to boys and girls in a village in Africa, a town in Russia, a village in China, wherever, as the boys and girls get the shoebox and open it and find the goodies that they wouldn't have much of a Christmas if it weren't for this. They'll also be given a booklet, and someone local will be trained to carry them through that booklet, and the booklet teaches them how to know Jesus and how to live the Christian life. Many people have come to Jesus through Operation Christmas Child. So we'll be doing that on November 14th. If you're local and you'd like to participate, we still have a few boxes around the church. And so come by the church and get a box and a flyer that explains how to fill the box, what to put in it, what not to put in it. And that'll be great. We encourage you to do that. Then you see this blue poster, Journey to the Manger, December 5th, Sunday evening, December 5th at 6 o'clock. Our music ministry has been working since late August on preparing this and having it ready for December 5th. It's a celebration of Christmas. Choirs, children's choir, youth, adults, instruments, narration, props, biblical costumes, drama, the whole bit. And so we invite you, if you're local, we invite you to come 6 o'clock, December 5th. I would encourage you. Normally, this is a pretty well-attended event. So if you want to get a decent seat, I would encourage you to get here a little early on December 5th for our Christmas music. Let me share with you a brief devotional thought this morning. One of my favorite stories in the Bible, and the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, and Luke for sure carry this, and you can. This is a story that we've told and you've heard. If you've been going to church since you were a small child, you've heard this story no telling how many times. But let me just share briefly with you the story. Jesus and his disciples had been ministering around the Sea of Galilee, and they had just gotten word that Jesus' dear friend and relative, John, had been killed, had been beheaded. We call him John the Baptist. Well, Jesus told his disciples to go get in a boat and go across the sea, and he needed to go up on the mountain and pray, and he would meet them later. So they did. They got in the boat and they headed across the sea, and he went up on the mountain to pray. And the Bible tells us that late that night, actually it was early the next morning in the wee hours of that pre-dawn day, Jesus is up on the mountain praying, and a great storm came up. And the disciples were out in this boat on the sea, and they're out in the middle of the sea, and the waves are hitting the boat, and the rain is coming down, and the wind is blowing, and you can just imagine them trying to man the oars and keep the boat upright and not be turned over by the storm. Jesus, way off in the distance, way up on the mountain, praying, looked across the distance, looked through the darkness, looked through the storm, and he saw them, and he had compassion for them. Well, the disciples, here they are fighting and rowing and probably panicking, and they look up and they see something, someone, some image walking on the water toward them. And they said, it's a ghost, it's a ghost. They just imagine what you would think, seeing some being walking on the water toward them. And Jesus got up to the boat and he says, I'm not a ghost, it's me. It's Jesus. And Simon Peter said, Lord, if that's you, call me to come out there on that water with you. And Jesus said, sure, come on. And Peter stepped out of the boat onto the water. And for a brief moment, Peter walked on water with Jesus. But he took his eyes off of Jesus. And he began to look at the waves around him, the storm that was raging around him, instead of looking at Jesus. And when he took his eyes off of Jesus and looked at the storm, down he went into the raging water. Jesus reached down and got him, and pulled him up, and said, oh, you of little faith. And they got in the boat. And when they got in the boat, boom, the storm stopped. And instantly, they were on the other side. Now that's just such a great story, and there's so many takeaways, and we don't have time this morning to talk about all the things we can learn from that story. I would encourage you to go find it in your New Testament, in the Gospels, and read the story, read it over and put yourself in the shoes of the disciples. Let me point out just a couple of things. One is Jesus was way up the mountain. We know that was the Sea of Galilee they were going across, and we know that it's about 7 miles wide. We know that it's notorious for sudden storms, and because of the depth of the water and the geography of the mountains around the Sea of Galilee, when storms come in, they can become violent in moments. We know that Jesus was somewhere on a mountainside praying, and so that was a long way. Now look, even if he had really good eyes, he probably did, that was a good, yes, and he was elevated, so that gives you a good vantage point to look down, but they were out in the middle. So he was a good 3.5 to 4, maybe 5 miles away. That's a long way, and we're not talking about a 10,000-foot mountaintop. Yes, he was on a mountain, but he wasn't that high. So he's seeing them anywhere from 4 to 5 miles away, and it was dark. It was dark. And it was storming. You go to your front door next time there's really a hard rain and see how far you can see. He saw them in the dark, in the storm, from a long way off. And he had compassion for them. I don't know what's going on in your life. You don't know what's going on in my life. But chances are some of us are going through some storms. And maybe you feel like one of those disciples just trying to keep the boat floating. And you're afraid your boat's about to sink. Jesus sees you. You're not unnoticed. You're not just hidden out there where no one cares. Jesus sees you. The second thing is he had compassion for. He didn't just say, oh, look at them, bless their hearts, they're about to sink. He went to them. He went to them. And he'll come to you. He'll come to me in our moment of need. And then the other thing, and I'll just stop with these three, is that we talk about Jesus being the only person who's ever walked on water, but that's not exactly true. Technically, for just a few seconds, Simon Peter, who was not God, he was just like us, walked on water. Why? Well, it was a very special moment, and Jesus invited him to do it. Now, I'm not suggesting you go out and step out into a river or a lake and try to walk, unless the Son of God appears to you and invites you to do it. But the point is, Peter walked on water until he took his eyes off of Jesus. And when he did, down he went. Are your eyes on Jesus? Whatever storm you're going through this morning, my friend, it will sink your boat if your eyes aren't on Jesus. Put your eyes on Jesus and keep them there. He sees you, he'll come to you, and he'll keep you afloat if you keep your eyes on him. God bless you today. I hope you, if you're local, I hope you get involved in the ministries of Quitman's First Baptist Church. Have a great week.